Alright, shed update. It is splash day. Splash is done. I'm more or less pleased with it. There's definitely a couple things that could have gone a little better, but for the most part, it went pretty well. So I successfully mixed up some paint. I think I outlined that, but in case I didn't, utilizing the finest of vintage materials, some late 80s vintage DuPont Dulux as my kind of main sort of color source. And seeing as this is synthetic enamel or alkyd enamel, I had to use this. I couldn't use rattle cans to tint it because it doesn't like that. So had some gray, most of a quart. I used a lot of it. So had to gray it out, and then some more synthetic enamel, some white. That was some gnarly paint that was a little bit left over, just to kind of lighten it a little bit. And this is kind of the finished result. Made not quite 2 quarts. I used a little bit more than a quart. So very glad I did that, and I got not quite a quart left over. So that's good. So yeah, sprayed reasonably well for the most part. Hit it with kind of one sort of medium light coat, give it about 10 minutes to flash, then hit her with a pretty heavy second coat, which is kind of what it outlined on the can. I guess this stuff sprays a little bit differently than other enamels just because it's old and because it's synthetic. I don't know. Never really worked with synthetic enamel before. It's nothing too crazy. Definitely went a little bit wild on this coat. A little wild. Yeah. But there's that. And there's these fellas. Definitely a little disappointing all along there. And the lighting is kind of garbage in here, so it's pretty difficult to tell exactly what you're doing as you're painting. It's kind of hard to watch the paint lay down on the panel whilst not like bumping into the other panels and messing those up. So in order to kind of be in a position of not wrecking the other panel and spraying, you can't really watch the paint flow with the way the crappy lights I have are. So I'm not going to say that it's not my fault. However, this is a Shed's paint job. It's honestly not bad given the constraints. So yeah, hood came out alright. Definitely went more wild even still with the coat on this, but because it's flat, there's no drippies. Came out alright. I mean, being a Shed's paint job, there's a lot of little dusty chunks. I mean, it looks alright. I got a couple of fisheyes. I'm not really sure why, because I kind of like, there we go. That kind of pisses me off. I'm not really sure why I got fisheyes, because I wiped these down with Prepsol about 6 times, and then wiped it down with glass cleaner like 3. So I would think that all the crap was off of them, but not quite, I guess. So it's whatever. Again, to be kind of expected for a Shed's paint job, and they kind of blend in with a lot of the little dirt nibs. So again, not saying it isn't my fault, but it's a Shed's paint job. It's whatever. So overall, though, pretty happy with it. The runs definitely bother me, but aside from that, it's pretty good. So I decided to go a little bit farther down with the blue on here than was factory. The blue kind of ended about here, and this was all kind of bare, but I don't know. I kind of wanted a little bit more paint than less, where it's all pitted, to try and, I guess, hide some of that because it's a lighter color. So that seems to have worked, but similar to factory. Just a little bit of sprinkling of blue down there, but all the dark gray stuff on the bottom edge still showing. Took a look at the other fenders up in the loft. It looks like this was pretty well all painted. Maybe not quite as thoroughly as this. This is all kind of behind the grill panel anyway. But it looks like from about, let's see, about here over at the factory, they actually brush painted it like a flat black, because you can see that little bit of the car through the grill. So in the spirit of this, I'm going to do precisely that. Gotta see if I've got any crappy black brush paint, but I'm sure I can track something down. So that'll be cool. That's what's going on today. I think it's about 6:45, so making good time. Got work at 8, so I got a little bit of time to kill. Contemplating putting a third coat on. I don't really think it needs it. I think I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead, because there's plenty of paint on there. So that's what's going on. I guess more of this as this starts to go together. I'm really looking forward to getting all these bolted on. Pretty much just waiting on the engine at this point. Once that's done, it can all kind of start going together. So that should be fun. Very much excited for that. So I guess more when more happens.